there is an ongoing invasion into the Spanish territories of Ceuta, Ceuta, and Melilla. They are north of Morocco. They border the Moroccan territory in northern Africa. For those who are on the radio side of things, you can't see the map, but we have a map prepared here for you over on the live stream and the TV side. Of course, Ceuta is right next to the Strait of Gibraltar, the entry point from the Atlantic Ocean into the Mediterranean, and Melilla is closer to the border of Algeria. These are Spanish territories. As of right now, Spain's civil guard chief has declared the border totally collapsed between Ceuta and Morocco, as thousands of military-aged men, not packs of desperate women and children, not the elderly, military-aged men who appear to be from ages 16 to 18 all the way up to about 45, are streaming over the border into the country and are, as of right now, invading people's homes in Spanish territory. So the initial news breaking today, some of this footage is, of course, shared to us over by Bill Malugin at Fox News. I do want to point out that though the chyron on the screen of this reads northern Spain, it's Spanish territory in northern Africa. Here you go.
Really wild video here. Chaos at the border of Spain's North African enclave in Morocco. This is a city called Ceuta. You're watching as thousands of migrants break through the fence and completely overwhelm the border police. Their video showing huge groups of people, mostly young military-age guys, cramming in.
Where are all the women and children?
Into inflatable tubes or arriving on shore another way, some of them wading in the water.
You'll see boats like this later with the current ongoing invasion of the United Kingdom as well,
as they break through the gates to get to the other side. Sandra, this is reminiscent of kind of what we saw during the open border during the Biden administration.
We'll get to that. Don't get ahead of me, Fox. So I want to dive into some of these details because they have already changed quite considerably since that video was uploaded today and released over on the Fox News side of things, by which I mean when I said that they are invading and breaking into Spanish citizens' homes right now, and you can guess what they're doing once they get inside there, I'm sure. Here you go. There are currently groups of adult men who are in Ceuta and Melilla that are breaking into people's homes and are doing God knows what to the individuals on the inside. If you have a moment, pray for those who live in Ceuta and Melilla. Which, by the way, in one of the first times that I have ever seen this, there was a combined party statement. So from the furthest left-wing party over to the furthest right-wing party in Ceuta, all of the Ceuta political parties, left to right, joined together today, this morning, to demand help and that the army be sent in immediately. Here was, and this is in Spanish, but all of the political parties assembled together. And again, you can see that it's not just white Spaniards. It is also those who have immigrated, who are of North African heritage. Many of those who are Muslim standing up there as well and demanding, begging from all, again, from the furthest left to the furthest right, are begging the Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, again, very, very, very left-wing, to send in the army because all of the police is completely overwhelmed. And, I'll have to kind of go in a particular order here, but Ceuta's president requested a total national emergency earlier today because every single police officer, whether on duty, not scheduled to be on duty, and reserve, had been called up and were completely overwhelmed. And by the way, when I said houses being broken into, the migrants, the military-aged Islamic men from northern Africa are grabbing ladders and are hoisting themselves up into any window that doesn't appear to be barred and fastened, and are trying to break into the homes of anyone inside Ceuta. Now, when some of these individuals have been interviewed and asked why it is that they are surging in, because you've heard all of the arguments from, for example, the libertarians and the left-wing individuals that they're just seeking economic opportunity and just a better life, just really nice, wonderful stuff. When you actually ask the migrants why it is that they are streaming in, here's one individual.
Ali,
telling a reporter, hey, you stayed in Morocco. Why did you decide to come from Morocco to Spain? And the guy says, I came to Spain because I want to change my life. I have problems in Morocco. I don't want to go back to Morocco. Now, there are a lot of people we're going to get to, all the way from Pramila Jayapal in the United States, who's already in Congress, to, again, Zoran Mamdani of New York, to Abdul El Sayed running in the Michigan primary against Haley Stevens on the Democrat side of the aisle. These individuals say that what he said right here is enough. He wants a new life. Things are problematic in Morocco. It's the same thing that you'll hear from Republican Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio, who says the reason he's outraged that the temporary protected status of Haitians has ended and that now Haitians are being told to leave whose temporary protected status was in fact temporary. You can't send them back to Haiti. A lot of those Haitians have problems in Haiti. Apparently, Haiti is a hellhole. Now, I was told reliably by Conan O'Brien and others taking photos of themselves on the beach that Haiti was a magical place of wonder and charm and delight, as are all of these nations. But this guy says he has problems in Morocco. The reporter asks, what kind of problems do you have in Morocco, sir? He says, people, if a friend of mine dies, someone might get in trouble just for saying things that aren't good. For me, a person could die. Either me or the other person could be in trouble. That's why I came. Because if he wants to commit murder, and he thinks that in Morocco that they might catch him. He also continues on the ways he's looking for work. Says, I have a good job. He says, I work at the beach. And they ask him a little bit further and kind of clarify, wait, are you saying that like you are under investigation potentially for murder in Morocco? And he confirms it and says, yeah. I mean, just the most delightful of bunches. When I said the cops were overwhelmed, I'm not joking. Here's a clip of that. You can see that the police in Spanish territory are completely overwhelmed. Now, Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister of Spain, finally, he got up in front of the country and said, the government of Spain, translating, of course, is fully committed to providing an immediate response to the situation in Ceuta. And then again, of course, later, Melilla. We are mobilizing all necessary resources, working with Moroccan and international authorities, and preparing the necessary measures to restore normalcy as soon as possible. And I just conveyed this to President Juan Vivas Lara. That's the president of Ceuta. He said, this is the moment to build solutions with responsibility and cooperation. Now, I don't normally include this when I share the screenshots of public statements that are often made on X, but I did include the numbers at the bottom of this message to show how horrifically this man was ratioed. The ratio is when there are more replies to a tweet than the likes on the tweet itself, or if the top comment has more likes than the tweet itself, that's considered a ratio. This man had 41,000 comments on this tweet to 26,000 likes on this particular tweet. And here's why. This man, who is claiming that he's doing everything to solve this problem, was just granting legal status to 500,000, as Politico called them, unauthorized immigrants. Anyway, illegal migrants streaming across the border and arriving in boats, etc. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, this article is back from April of 26, defends the decision in light of the country's aging population and the need to keep public services fully staffed. Oh, see, the economy demands it. The economy demands we let in all of these military-aged men. And again, with whose Islamic practices results in much higher violence, whose cultures are not compatible. Again, do not take this from just me. Take this from the left-wing politicians in Ceuta, who have said that the brand of Islam that is brought in from Morocco and surrounding North African regions is deeply incompatible because it is violent, because it molests women, and because it carries the same type of honor, culture, evil that has been prevalent throughout Europe and that which has been imported to Western civilization as a whole. Radio Crew, I have to send you to the commercial break. We have a lot more news to cover on this. It's the Tony Kinnett Cast here on The Daily Signal. Now, in the meantime, and there's a lot more fact-checking that we can bring up here, Pedro Sanchez was criticizing Elon Musk, just in January this year, Elon Musk made the case, again, the American billionaire currently, not trillionaire anymore, but the billionaire who criticized the open migrant, open borders policies of countries like Spain, who, as you may recall, was just strutting around the UN, tutting the United States for its treatment of Muslims in the Middle East or something. And those dirty, damned Israelis or just whatever kind of conspiracy theory nonsense that he believes. Elon Musk was criticizing Pedro Sanchez for this. And Pedro responded that Elon Musk was very close-minded. How could he say this about migrants? What you really need is compassion. Look at this picture of a crying child. For just $1 a day and the rape of your children. You too could be compassionate enough to let this 25-year-old man into your country who's likely going to do very terrible things, who's running from murder charges in other countries. So again, here was the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez, responding to, again, the criticism of Spain's open migrant policies back in January.
Some say we've gone too far, that we're going against the current. But I would like to ask you, when did recognizing rights become something radical? When did empathy become something exceptional? Spain is above all a welcoming country, and this is the path we choose: dignity, community, and justice.
Yeah, just compassion. Again, it is compassion for everyone but the citizens of his own country. And this is something that needs to be made very clear, because again, there's been a lot of angst in the evangelical part of the Protestant church. Those that, for example, a lot of the churches that fly pride flags that say, guys, Jesus is like all about compassion and letting everyone in. And then again, some parts of the Catholic Church would do the same thing and say, everyone, my robes are very fancy and you must let in everyone because that's compassion. No, as a government, your responsibility is to your citizens first. And then after the needs of your citizens are met, you can then go about helping the rest of the world if you have stuff left over. But at the moment, what you are seeing are disastrous consequences. And again, is there any thanks? Is there any idea that you believe that the Spanish military is going to go in and stop the influx, the invasion of these young Muslim men, these military-aged men from North Africa? Absolutely not. As the army vehicles are seen rolling down the highways in order to make it to the issue area in Ceuta, the migrants are just walking by the vehicles laughing and mocking them. So as the vehicles are driving by, the migrants, now freshly invaded, strolling right on past. And they're mocking. They're going, bravo, España. And they're mocking it. And throwing up gestures that are rather obscene as well. Because they don't care. Again, they're here to reap the rewards that very soft-bellied, suburban, divorced women have decided in this post-liberal, wonderful era is appropriate. We have to, guys, think about the children and the people, that kind of argument. Now, there are some explosions reported. We're not quite sure what they entail, but there is smoke seen in Ceuta. Now, there is a question as to whether there was a controlled demolition near the border to, make it impassable temporarily. That's not confirmed at the present time. We do know, however, that as of 6:33 p.m., so just under an hour ago, this Thursday, July 30th, they're still crossing the border, right now. Invasion is still going on. Not just this clip, but this clip. They're still going. Still going. Unfettered. No one's stopping them. Why? This is the policy that you've reaped. This is what you have elected. And again, more. Now, there are some police officers, and you can see in this clip, even after the officers have arrived, they're just walking right on past them. Right on past them. Radio crew, welcome back from the commercial break. All right, let's dive into the last little piece of news. We have reports of car fires as well in Melilla. We're keeping an eye on this. Again, individuals are breaking into houses. We're keeping an eye on as many situations as we can regarding this invasion into two places inside of Spanish territory in northern Africa. This would be the video of which there are migrants who are live on social media. And you can see all of the comments from people very, very excited and loving it. The migrants are setting car fires. They're just doing all of the burning and the pillaging right away, as, you know, Islamic colonialism usually does. Now, I do want to bring up another key point here before we move on from this particular story for the moment here. Pedro Sanchez has made it perfectly clear earlier this year as well that this is all part, he said, we need to activate the reparation mechanisms more intensely in irregular migration. What does that mean? It means that Pedro Sanchez has made it clear that he thinks Spain is responsible, and Spain alone, along with, well, I shouldn't say alone, along with the rest of Western Europe, for brutalizing all of Africa. And it is because of Spain that Morocco is not a surging, wonderful, glorious first world country. And it is because of Spain that Algeria doesn't have all of the skyscrapers and economic business and all of the cathedrals. Well, I mean, Islam kind of burnt down a lot of the cathedrals in Spain, and is still trying to do so. But he says, well, this inviting in all of these migrants and just, you know, bringing them all in at a time, that's part of their reparations to the rest of the world, so to speak.